Welcome back to the Only Points podcast, you guys. We're your host, Eddie Garcia. We got our boy, Alexis Martinez. We got our boy, Eddie Mercado. We got our boy, our special guest of the day, Dillon Brooks. Man, this guy is a good old friend of ours. He's been here in Vegas for a long time. And actually, I would like him to introduce himself. Can you take it away and tell our guests who you are, what do you do, and why you're so goddamn handsome, bro?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much again for having me on the podcast. It's really a special thing, so I'm glad you guys had me on. My name's Dillon. I'm out here in Las Vegas. I've been here for about 10 years now, and really just trying to progress through this game we play, life. And doing that, I've done a bunch of different things being in Vegas, and I'm just, coming on today to hopefully go over some of those topics, my background and how I even got to a podcast like this, and just slowly going over my life. So,
it's a funny thing that you say the game of life, because our previous guests say the same thing.
Same thing?
Exact same thing, yeah.
I don't know what else to compare to it other than a video game. It's just
literally exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
But with one life?
Yeah.
One life.
Just one life?
Yep.
So no GTA?
No GTA.
cheat codes?
No replays.
No
but,
left, right, up, triangle, square.
Yeah.
Because based off your background, you've done some daredevil stuff.
Yeah, no, for sure. I grew up riding dirt bikes my whole life. I did pro-amateur motocross for a little bit. Had sponsors like Kawasaki and Monster Energy.
Something
Dude,
like
I was about to say, tell me why you look like those. You looked at the type of person that Red Bull will sponsor.
Dude, hey, Red Bull's watching.
Damn.
Bring me back. I need a ride. But yeah, no, I grew up doing that, and got to like huge stadiums, the Oakland A Stadium for motocross. And then I had a really bad accident when I was 15 years old. I got 2 compressed vertebrae in my lower back. Lost everything, lost all sponsors, and that was kind of like my first thing that, okay, this is what I'm gonna do. This is gonna be my life. I'm gonna race pro motocross, and it all ended with one accident, and it's just insane. Like, that was my first, I guess, failure that really opened my eyes that nothing's promised that we do. So.
At the age of 15?
At 15 years old, yeah. I was riding motocross since I was 5 years old before that, so 10 years up until that.
So Red Bull doesn't give you wings?
No wings whatsoever.
Oh my God.
I think they got sued for that, right?
Yeah.
They got sued for false advertisement for that.
Yeah.
And then I remember I was getting like $2 and something cents checks every so often, because I filled out the form and was like, yeah, I bought like 3 Red Bulls in my day when I was like 16 years old.
It's wild.
I definitely should have got
But
that.
awesome, man. Okay, so let's go back. I think one of the very first things we want to cover is like, how do we all met? Basically, how do we know each other? And I think probably the first one we want to talk is Eddie. You're the one who met him first, probably.
Do you think so?
Yeah, I think, well, through Elvis, I've met
Shout out to Elvis.
all of you guys. Shout out to Elvis for sure. And just being present in the opportunities that, the dinners or the just hanging out like this, I've been able to meet everyone.
I'll go as far as to say that I believe we met at Wally's.
Okay.
I'm
I'm like, bring it back.
I think
He
so.
did not even deny nor confirm that. He was like,
No.
okay.
Because I thought it was like a networking event at like the Cosmo or something.
It could have been, but I just remember us like a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago, going to Wally's and sitting down on a table. There was like 12, 13 of us. And then I want to also say that we went to Gatsby's like right after, because we were always like rolling deep. There was always like 12, 13 of us, because it's always the same exact people, correct?
Right.
And it's very important that you said through being in like the same room with like the opportunities, because we all have something completely different to offer, but we all work in like feng shui, obviously here to like work together. And then who you met, I want to say Eddie Garcia right after.
Yep. Again, through Elvis. He connected us.
Just networking at the same thing. I remember, I think the very first time that we really got to spend some time with each other was when you and your girl, we went out to eat.
Yes.
And we were talking about a lot
Italian
about business,
restaurant.
life, and anything what you guys wanted to do. And I was giving you guys my own viewpoints on things to do and how to grow, man. And yeah, you guys have come a long way since then. So
It's
I'm
crazy to
very
think.
happy to see where you guys been. and to think that now we're partnering up on a few things, which we will talk about later in the podcast. But yeah, man, that's again, that was like what, almost 2 years ago too.
Yeah. What's really neat about that too is it really comes all back to the root, right? The first people I meet, Mo, Corey. Corey vouched for me through this entire introductions of people, you know, like the biggest thing for when I met Elvis, I remember is like Elvis was like, you know, are you sure this guy's serious? Because Corey, I had a lot of questions about credit at the time. I was brand new to it. You know, I had 2 credit cards. Like I just had no direction.
Yeah. So the thing is, like, when getting into a completely different industry, you're gonna have like newbie questions because like the concepts and everything is so new to you.
Right. It's the newest of questions I had. And the thing is Elvis has answered those 5,000 times prior. I'm sure of it. I'm sure you guys all have. And so at that time, he wanted to make sure that I was serious before he, you know, talks all this info to me. And Corey was the one, like, dude, anything you say to Dillon, he is a sponge. Like, I promise you, like, he will listen and he will apply to whatever you told him. And that literally skyrocketed everything for me. It really changed the way I look on everything and the way I live my life now.
Perfect. So you've obviously known Corey for longer than us. When did you meet Corey?
I met Corey on vacation in Miami. We come to this huge Airbnb house in Miami for just like a friend's kind of getaway, and Corey was there and met him for the first time.
I think that's what's dope because I've taken vacations and these friend breaks too with a bunch of us as well. So within itself, like making money together, we take vacations together. I think it's definitely like a beautiful thing for me. So, and then did you guys just like meet?
We just met right now.
Credit
But I feel like I've seen you around in one of Mo's events. Maybe I don't know if you've gone.
Okay, yeah, no, I try to go to whatever I can to meet people. So
yeah, because I feel like I've seen you around, but you know, we probably haven't talked until now.
Well, it's funny because I know your Instagram, but it's
you do?
now it's just it's so how it comes full circle all the
Exactly.
time.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I said when I first met him in person. I was like, well, I feel like I've known him for months because I've seen him on his Instagram. I've talked to him multiple times before we actually met in person. So.
The thing is, he's always catching a flight.
That's true.
He's always catching a flight.
Facts, yeah.
So there's that. Now let's go ahead and get into like the nitty gritty, like who you are. So you started in the motocross at the age of 15. You had your very, very first accident because you were doing motocross. That's motorcycles, right?
Yeah.
When did you get into like drifting?
Drifting came after that. So if we kind of want to transition over to drifting, I think we really go into my background.
Hold on. Before we do that, actually, my bad.
Yes.
Talk about like the biggest races that you had for motocross, because I don't want to keep going back and forth.
Okay. No, I got you. So like some of the biggest ones we did was like the Outdoor Nationals Championship in Texas, Galveston, Texas. And that's huge. I mean, you're looking at I think we had 35 riders in just that group class. So obviously first place all the way to 35th. That was the biggest race I've ever done. It's an outdoor course. It's 2.5 miles long and this long uphills. That was the biggest race I've ever done. That was put on by Kawasaki, and they flew me out there for that.
Nice.
And then prior to that, the stadium races were always like really huge to me because they did the fireworks, they called out all the riders. And at that time I was so young, so I'm racing the teenage class, but it was on 250cc bikes. So at 14 years old, like, yes, I'm tall, but like at 14, that's a big bike, So
Dude, that's a lot of power for a 14-year-old.
It was insane.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
I don't know what that means.
250cc, like, okay, in motocross, right, you have two of the biggest classes. The biggest classes you can ride in are going to be a 250cc and the 450cc. So at 14 years old, I'm riding a 250cc. So the only class I can go up to after that is 450, and I was at 14 years old riding that bike.
So can you like transition that to like horsepower? Can you translate that to horsepower?
It's really hard to, because the bike to horsepower is so, I mean, you're looking at less than 100 horsepower on a dirt bike, but the bike weighs 800 pounds. You know what I mean? So like it flies. I mean, the bike
Yeah,
is super fast.
the bike doesn't weigh much, so you just rip. Like as soon as you touch the throttle, you fucking do a wheelie if you don't know what the fuck you're doing.
No, that's actually so funny that you said that. Have you ever been whiskey throttled?
So not me personally. My dad grew up as a pro amateur motocross rider as well. So from the time I could walk, like he had a dirt bike. I didn't ride a bicycle. I rode a dirt bike, like with training wheels on it.
Guess we're not special.
And
Not special.
And that's kind of how I like. So I never had those issues. Of course, here and there, like the reason why I crashed was because I kind of got whiskey throttle coming out of a berm. So the throttle got stuck open. I came off the side of the track. I hit a boulder, and then the bike landed on top of me. And that's kind of what caused the whole thing.
And this was at what age?
This was at 15.
Oh shit.
Yeah. And then, but all my friends, I've had 3 people growing up. 3 of my friends' dads break collarbones and bones by getting on my dirt bike because they didn't know any better, and it was a 2-stroke, so you get whiskey throttle, and the power band kicks on, so the whole bike just comes up, and so they've broken bones on. It was just funny because I'm 14, and these grown 35, 40-year-old men.
Yeah, because they don't know. They don't know.
They don't know any better.
Dude, if you give me a bike like that right now, I've never driven one, so
Yeah.
I will fucking break something.
Well, and you see me getting off a 14-year-old kid, you're like, shut up. Like, he's just a kid, you know what I mean?
And then you just like.
And then all of a sudden, you come to find out how hard it is. Yeah.
No, for sure. So, do you still do that on your free time? Are you still highly passionate? Like, for example, I did mariachi for 16 years. I did music for 16 years. So, like, sometimes I like seeing their Instagrams. Like, I reminisce.
100%. I mean, the riders I grew up with, like Jeremy McGrath and Bubba Stewart, they're all older guys now and don't even race. But they'll post, like, they have their Instagrams with old races and stuff. I don't ride dirt bikes anymore. The moment I get a chance to ride any type of bike, street bike, hard, I definitely always hop on and just kind of let loose a little bit. But no more dirt bikes, nothing like that. I'm way more passionate in kind of the cars and the drifting aspect of things.
Because it's harder to crash a car than crash a motorcycle.
It's a lot safer too. You are not like protected on a dirt bike, so it hurt a lot more.
I actually someone very close to me asked me what about getting a bike, because it would be so much easier to get in and out.
Yeah,
cars.
terrible idea.
And I was like, you're not doing that.
No, it's
I said it would be an offense to myself if I allowed you to get a bike, because it would be an offense to your daughter. It would be an offense to like everybody that you love, because dude, I've lost so many friends to motorcycle accidents.
Yep.
And they're like, no, but I'm gonna be careful. I don't care. One of my closest friends died because he was he passed away because he was in the freeway and a drunk driver hit him in the freeway going 80 something miles
and you
an hour.
don't have that control.
And he was ground me like he was like.
I tell everyone, like, I'm not worried about my abilities. I'm worried about everyone else around me. You could be the best motorcycle rider in the world. I don't care who you are. It just takes one time, because guess what? You're all exposed. A car will kill you at 40 miles an hour, no problem.
Right.
Yeah.
You know? And it's just people don't pay attention. I mean, I'm talking about, I race pro amateur motocross and all that, but I've broken 5 ribs. I've broken my wrist. I have 2 compressed vertebrae. I've fractured both knees. I've broken 3 toes. Like, little silly stuff like that. Like, I'm going to be in a lot of pain in 20 years.
I like how you said silly stuff. You're like, I broke a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
That all sounds like life or death situations.
That sounds
crazy.
horrible, man.
Yeah.
I've only broken my wrist, my wrist twice technically. My thumb bone right here, my wrist, and then my elbow. That's it.
Playing the trumpet is a very difficult.
Yeah, it's fucking dangerous, bro.
It sounds like it.
Yeah,
Very
dude.
careful.
I have a metal bar right here in my arm. There's a scar there, but it just holds the. Yeah, it's my IUD. It's a metal bar, and it just kind of holds just everything in there. So.
Otherwise, you crumble.
Yeah,
Wow.
otherwise this is good.
When I was 6.
Like Wolverine now.
Oh, I don't like to admit this. I don't really think I've ever admitted this.
It's the perfect time.
It was like the middle school that I went to was first in elementary school, which was Dutcher. I remember they had this stupid playground. The easiest obstacle, literally the easiest obstacle, was the. Oh my
monkey
God!
bars?
No.
Okay.
Essentially, when it comes down to it, I was a fat, chubby kid. In case you guys don't know, I was a fat, chubby kid. So there's no way I could swing. It was like
seesaw?
No, it was like a 4x4, but it was held by like 2 chains, one on each end. So you just had to walk across it, right?
Balance on it. Yeah. So it's shaking back and forth.
Yeah, yeah. No movement. I fell off that, but I fell on my arm. So I actually fractured my right arm at 6 years of age. And because my parents don't believe in breaking bones or fracturing elbows, me llevaron con una sobadora. They took me to like some lady to like massage me. Every other day I was on an arm bar. They're like, you just have nerves. You just have a ball of nerves. You just have a ball of nerves. And I mean, I remember they would always tell me, we're going to go visit your padrino. We're just going to visit your padrino. And I already knew the same trees, the same stop signs, the same stoplights. I was like, hell no. Every single time they were going to take me to go visit my padrino, which the lady that lived in front of my padrino, who's my godfather, was like the massage lady, right? My parents would lie to me. They'd be like, oh, vamos a ir we're going to go visit your padrino. We're going to go take you to the store. We're going to go do this. We're going to go do that. We're going to go see if you actually like this dog, right? Hell no. Like the second I saw the same exit of the freeways, the same lights, I would start busting out crying because I already knew I was going to be in an arm bar. And it wasn't until like a month and a half later, they're like, you know what? These massages just aren't working. Let's actually take them to the hospital.
Oh my
I show up to the hospital and guess what they said? Guess what they said?
It's like even worse now. It's already healed.
They said, why are you coming now? It's healing. Mm-hmm. It's literally healing. And of course I got like a brace and I'm just like, hey, this is whack. You know, like this is whack. So in my lifetime, I've fractured my right arm. I've gotten 16 stitches on the right side of my head. And I fractured my right ankle. No, my right ankle. My right ankle when I was changing the roof when I was 16. When I was 15. And then I got bunion surgery on my right foot because, well, that's genetic. That was cosmetic. Everything on the right side, everything on my left is, you know, I'm perfectly fine. I'm not trying to jinx it or anything, but
you're just kind of like this when you walk a little.
I lean like a cholo. Yeah. Have you ever fractured any bones or what?
Nope. No bones.
Damn, this guy's perfect.
Perfect, yeah.
Did you guys ever see that show Scarred they had out for a little bit on MTV?
Not interested.
No.
Okay, yeah, because it would make you cringe. And it would just be videos of skateboarders, bicyclers, motorcycle riders, just snapping bones, breaking things.
Okay. The worst ones. I'm into fitness. When you see people lifting and then something snaps.
Oh
my god!
Especially on the leg presses.
I was gonna say that.
That one too.
Don't tell me that. Don't tell me that, bro.
That's literally what I'm just like, nah, I think 4 plates on each side is just perfectly fine, you know, like, because the thing with me is like, I'm not trying to down talk myself, but I have range for days, you know, I have range for days. Like I have like 3 feet of clearance versus like shorter dudes that are like probably like, I don't know, like 5'6", 5'8", no disrespect, kings, but it's like, you have 2
Short
feet.
kings.
No disrespect. It's like 2 feet of clearance to like 4.5 feet of clearance. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then it's like, I remember in high school too, I used to get, people used to talk shit. They're like, you don't even squat as much as I do. Like, I'm not focused on squatting, you know? You guys just like literally, it's like 6 inches of clearance versus like 3 feet. Nah, but back to this. When you were like racing in motocross, wouldn't you wear like a back brace and like, did you guys had like
the
all
full
that
nine, the neck,
exoskeleton
the neck
shit, no?
Yeah, and still with all that, you will get messed up on.
800 pounds slamming against your back. Doesn't sound like fun.
So tell us, like Motorcycle 3, Dillon 1 or what?
Yeah. Oh no, way more than that. Motorcycle 10.
Motorcycle 10.
Dillon 1 maybe. I mean, I just think of all, because keep in mind too, when I had that accident, I was in a coma for 2 weeks.
Oh, that's not fun.
Yeah. So
I came out.
That. No, I left the part out.
We need to find the doctor that slapped you to make sure that you were actually in a coma.
Yeah,
because
right?
that's
Someone
what they
did.
say. Yeah, you always get slapped when you're in a coma just to make sure.
I think that was my dad. He's probably pissed that I lost my sponsor. So he's like, you're worthless now, you know?
Oh my god, that sounds horrible.
Hey, man.
Shout out to
It was
dad.
like that, though.
Shout out to your dad.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what pushed you so hard. So at 15, no more motocross. When did you move to Las Vegas?
Yeah. Oh, what? Look, first of all, how did that feel like? How was your mental state there? And then what did you decide to do next after that?
After the accident and stuff?
Yeah.
I mean, there was a lot of rehab. At that age, I don't think I realized kind of, that something like that could happen to me. So having that accident and then waking up as if I took a nap and then being like, oh no, it's 2 weeks later. I think that was the most surreal feeling ever.
Really? And so as soon as you got into the accident, you were out?
I don't even remember the exact accident. Like, I remember coming off of the berm and then like coming down, and that's it. Like, I just remember, oh shit, I'm crashing.
And then the next thing, like, it was a split second later, boom, you're in the hospital. You wake up 2 weeks later.
And I wake up in the hospital. Yeah.
So
yeah, nothing in between.
There was no recollection, no memory. You didn't have a different life, or you couldn't hear people talking about.
No, nothing like I saw the lights or there was people, nothing like that.
How boring.
It was like,
it
was like,
what is wrong
I took
with
a
you?
nap. Like that.
Yo,
that's
we're
it.
in a podcast. You're supposed to just make up shit, bro.
Yeah, right. Just to make it sound better.
Yeah, no. It's because I've seen people like when they say like I went in a coma and then I lived an entire different life. And it felt like it was 10 years, and then I came back, and then my entire family was gone, and then I was like, "What the fuck?"
My mom had a similar experience to that. She was in most recently, I mean, what is this, a month and a half ago, she had some complications, was in and out of 3 comas, but she comes out of it completely different person. Like, as far as like the way she looks on life and stuff. Like, she saw my great-grandfather that passed away. She saw my great-grandmother that passed away, and she swore that they were telling her, it's not your time, it's not your time. So, gives me the chills talking about it, because like, I didn't have none of that, right? And it was different. She swears, my mom's not a religious person either, so she's not going to come and BS that, So it's crazy.
The second coming of Jesus, all of a sudden, yeah.
It's crazy.
That's crazy. Okay, so you did a lot of,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I appreciate that, man. You went through a lot of rehab, and what did you decide to do, after you became, like, first of all, how long did it take you to fully recover all your motor functions, or do you even still feel like, fuck, I'm not 100% there yet?
My back, for sure, not 100%. Like, me and my girlfriend, we went to New York, and New York's a lot of walking. That was my first time there. And there was points where my body started shaking because I was in so much pain from all the walking.
Well, you know what? We've been to New York twice together, and New York is a shit ton of walking. I can promise you that much. So I can understand with like your medical background how you felt, but bro, we had to sit down too.
Right. So imagine that you guys had to sit. There was a part which I've never walked that much before. We're doing 8 to 10 miles a day.
Yeah,
and
shit
like,
sucks.
I don't just naturally go walk 8 to 10 miles a day. So like my body was trembling, and like everyone else was ready to walk. So I'm like, guys, I'm sorry, I have to sit down. I might start crying. Like, it was like hot flashes, and like it just gets so like irritated or swollen or something in there. That's why I want to get stem cells. I want to go to Colombia. And
that's why you want to go to Colombia.
Yeah.
Oh no, I had different priorities.
Well, as long as we get my stem cells,
we can do everything else.
Okay, definitely, dude. So it's been a long journey, but eventually you got into a next sport, which was, and then how did you get into that?
Well, a lot of baggage comes along with like the next sport, I guess, I got into, because everything fell apart after motocross. Everything fell apart.
But Dillon, look, I get it. You had like a bright future, but you were 15.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate because
I thought you were gonna say something else, but keep going.
What did you? No, you know what's funny? Everybody says with Eddie, we never know.
No, we never know.
Well, that's the truth.
I seriously thought I was gonna. Well, Dillon, stop being a bitch.
Yeah,
right.
No, never that. The thing is, like I guess I get it. Like, growing up, you wanted to become a motocross, like a pro, because you were.
As a kid, it was
taken away from you.
As a kid, it was everything.
Yeah, but it's also like, we are 25. I'm 27, right? We're like in that like age demographic. We still don't have it figured out.
Oh, not at all.
And,
not at all. We
and
have so
you
much
at
time.
15, you're getting sponsorships, and it's very unfortunate that you got those stripped. But it's like, you must have thought, this is my life, right? I'm actually getting paid to do this. So what's that baggage that you're talking about moving on with your after like the after your
The
injury?
the baggage is
Is it fear?
my family falling apart.
Oh.
The reason why my dad was such a good dad is because I did and I was good at what he wanted me to be good at.
Yeah, I see that.
So the moment that got taken away from us, I almost I for a sense lost my dad. Alcoholism got into the picture, and I mean literally just pushed me out of the thing. And through this whole time, I mean up until I was 16, 17 when I moved here, like I come to find out like my own mom was dealing with her issues with drugs and through my whole life. And so my upbringing was very poor, very, some nights we didn't even have like electricity. We lived off a generator. But all through that, I had a dirt bike. And that I think they just kind of put all their eggs in the basket with my abilities. And so when that happened, all the problems surrounding that got a lot worse.
Or they were
They were putting all their eggs in your basket.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so
exactly.
they were trying to bank on you making it, and then boom, all of a sudden, like they resorted back to their issues, or their issues became more apparent now.
Yeah, and more to me too, because now I had that feeling from my father, like this is your fault, like you're the one that ruined my life, type of thing, and it just destroyed me inside. I mean, once I lost the sponsors, once I lost the dirt bike, like once the drugs took over and the alcohol, I had nowhere to live. I started living with friends. My mom didn't have a place to stay. They divorced, at a very young age. So through all this, the motocross kind of kept them together. But once that was gone, the whole family just fell apart.
Wow.
So you're 17. You moved here because this is like where I relate to you. Where were you living before?
Before I moved here, I was living, so through all this, just to step back just a little bit, my 7th grade year, I missed 126 days of school. I was never forced to go to school. I was always able to do what I want. I had older friends, so I would go to Pismo Beach, California for days on end. No one would ask where I was, and I'd come back and go to school because I wanted to. So through all this, like, I just was screwing off, you know what I mean? No one was checking on me. No one was.
Yep.
I had no like boundaries or any guidance. Yeah, I didn't know what rules were and nothing like that. So after all that happened, like I had nowhere to live. My parents had nothing. My dad stopped talking to me. Like I didn't know where he was. My mom's living in motels. Like so I moved in with a buddy, and because it was closer to school, so I could go to school, because my escape was my friends. I would go to school just to hang out. I thought I was that class clown, like never paid attention to school, but I was there for my friends. And the whole reason I ended up even making this decision, which Vegas was always an option for me because I had an aunt here, and my aunt was stone cold sober, very normal, structured, whatever, right? But I never wanted to do it because my friends were so important to me. We go to wake up my friend's mom one day, and we find her dead in her bed. She had overdosed from Oxycontin.
Oh my God.
Mind you, I'm still about 15 and a half years old. This is very
Was this before or after the accident?
This is after. So this is after rehabilitation. Because the dirt bike stuff, it was more like 50, like brand new 15. So like 14 and a half coming on to 15, Gotcha. So we had that whole time to rehabilitate. All this, it's crazy how like fast time flies by. Because all this happened in that time, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we found her dead. She had overdosed. And that day, from that moment, right, we find her, call the police. Next call I make is my aunt. She buys me a ticket. I'm on a plane with a backpack.
You're 15 and a half. You know what's crazy? Even though I've always lived with my parents, I'm not going to say I was extremely scared, but I was relatively scared to fly to Mexico for my own joy at 16 and a half. But you're actually making like life-changing decisions. I mean, but this is where were you moving from?
Fresno, California.
From Fresno, California. I am from the 209. I don't necessarily like to disclose where, but you guys know where I'm from. And then you're in the 559,
Yep.
which is just like so like mind blowing because we came from a place that's like maybe 60 miles away, maybe
Right.
depends.
I did races there.
In the 209.
Yeah.
You don't want to disclose.
Yeah,
Did you
like
think I was
209.
gonna say where or what? That's dope. That's so crazy. Now I think we actually spoke about you. Did you ever live in Sacramento?
So that's kind of where my family resides now. So I
Okay.
do go visit. I lived there for like a year and a half through, which is a whole nother story. But I lived there for like a year and a half, and then I came back.
That's Vegas, is it?
Yeah, it's just a land of opportunity. We're so young still, and there's just so much going on here that
Right.
it brought me right back.
Absolutely. Yeah.
The hub to network. You know.
Yeah, no, literally.
The hub to network. So you're 17, living here. When did you get into the car drifting stuff?
That happened right out of high school. So because my aunt.
Wait, actually, hold on.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to recover? Did you flunk 7th, 8th grade? Did you flunk any grades for missing 126 days?
It's funny we talk about this because I don't know what happened. Like, I don't know how I continued through the grades. Like, I always, grew up like you get held back. Like, I kept going through the grades, and it wasn't until I moved here for my junior and senior year that I felt the effect of the credits, not having credits. When I came to Las Vegas in my junior year of high school, I had 26 credits, and I think you need like 138 to graduate. Something like that. Like, my numbers might be off, but like, just know when I came here, they were like, oh, you need to do school 5 days a week, and you need to do 3 classes online every day too, and if you want to graduate on time.
That's a big if.
Yeah, crazy. Like, and my aunt, she's amazing. She gave me that structure, and I graduated on time.
Let's get it.
Graduated on time.
Is your aunt still here? Do you live with her?
No. So my aunt and uncle, he's a private contractor for the government. They moved away to Abu Dhabi, lived there for some time, and then they ended up going to New Mexico. So yeah, I see them when I visit.
Nice.
Awesome.
What type of private contractor?
So he does he works on jets and does the explosions that
You
go
see
off when you
Hollywood
ignition?
movies?
you know when they go
The ignitions?
yeah. So like when the chair goes up, right, and the parachute comes out. Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
So he does that.
Okay.
That's
Yeah,
pretty
it's
dope.
pretty neat. But they always pushed military real big on me. And
No.
coming up with abusive boyfriends and stepdads that my mom had, and like this, I don't know, like the military felt like a.
Okay, I see. Maybe they try to push the military for you because they felt like the structure and the type of mindset is what you needed in your
Right.
life ASAP.
The thing with me
Okay.
is I'll talk my shit now, bro. I've had friends, I've had people that I've gone to school with, and their parents forced them to go to the army or whatever service. It doesn't matter. I'm not touching that place.
Yeah, I don't.
They come back robotic. They come from like competing with me to be the class clown to like super robotic. Like I'm over here like trying to, and they're like, and I'm like, whoa, like you're a completely different, changed person.
Right.
What the hell?
800 credit score. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
I'm
Wait,
kidding.
hold up. No, yes and no, because I do see a mentality change. I mean, I heard this from so many people, especially from couples that were together in high school, and then the guy leaves to go to military boot camp, comes back 6 months later, completely different
Yeah.
person. I totally understand that. I get that. I think there's a shift in their mentality that's more like yes or no, sir.
Right.
Get it done. Whatever it is. And again, to a certain degree, there's good. But dude, I've seen so much shit in the military where, like, dude, when they go out and party, is like super toxic.
Yeah, but do you know
Holy-
why? That's their escape.
Oh.
in my
Yeah.
eyes, that's their escape.
So them coming back home, that's also their escape.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, I'm not gonna say there's a 50-50 chance of you being like still like upright and everything, like
Yeah.
like fix your posture type thing.
Well, I mean, like, that's not thing bad. Fuck, I'm fixing my posture right now. Fuck.
Yeah.
You know, I like to talk. No, as I'm freaking hunching my back. No, so nothing wrong with it, but I can see why they would why they
Yeah.
would not necessarily
Yeah.
push, but encourage.
Yeah.
Do I think it would have been good for me? 100%, because
Right. Okay.
you know, it would have taught me that structure. It would have gave me that stable income, all that. But
I don't know about stable income.
but you know what I mean, like steady money coming in. I mean, because I started at
Bro.
$8 an hour.
Bro,
So.
there's people that in military jobs, right? And they're like making decent money. It's not nothing crazy, but they don't do shit. They're just fucking around all day, and they're
Yeah.
like, "All right, time to clock off. Who wants to go
Or
to
the
the bar?"
most thing I see the most, and I'm so sorry to put this out there, but like your buddy joins the military, and then 6 months to a year later, you're like, holy crap, he's married, because they get more
Oh,
money, because they
yes.
get more money,
Yeah,
and they
yeah.
get more allowances and stuff like that. So a lot of my friends that had gone in the military, I'm like, you've been dating this girl for 4 months, and you guys are married. He's like, yeah, the benefits, you know, like
They also teach you like commitment.
Yeah.
They teach you
to
commitment.
task.
My very
but-
last job was AutoZone. I don't like to admit
Me
that.
too.
Really?
Yeah. Red shirt.
Yeah, like with the badge and
Yeah.
everything. You know what? It actually,
This guy.
I didn't want to like admit that was my very, very last job with corporate America up until like I looked up how much their stock is worth. It's over $1,000. So
It's a great company.
no,
right?
so that was like my very last job. I remember one of the managers there, which I didn't ever respect, ever. And I'll explain why. Is because he would bring it up. I said, oh, I miss the military. Because he was a Marine. But he didn't work the part or just, he didn't, he wasn't a good example. He would say, what I would give for a, what do you call those? Like a person in charge? A sergeant.
Sergeant.
What I would give for a sergeant to come in, grab my what is
Tail?
it, like my basket, and just dump it and tell me to fix it again. What I would give to do that. And I'm just like, you want to get disrespected so bad right now, like let me do that for you. No, but the reason why I didn't respect him was because every time as an entrepreneur, and this was like me already in my journey, the reason why I chose to get a job was because I needed to be considered low income so that I can qualify for Tesla rebates. Yes. And I did that for 6 months. Anyways, after those 6 months, I did quit. Life hack, actually. I got 13,500. So it was worth it for me. Anyways, the reason why I never respected him was because he would always tell me to do tasks the half-ass way. He'd be like, hey, bro, can you mop? But just make sure you spot mop. If I'm going to mop, I'm mopping the entire place. If I'm going to clean a bathroom, I'm going to clean all bathrooms. If I'm going to, like, stock a shelf, I'm stocking the entire row. That's just me, right? So that's why I didn't respect him. But
What do you mean by like he didn't look the part?
he was fat.
He was fucking
Yeah.
fat, right? So he's
I-
deflecting.
look, bro.
He's deflecting responsibility.
Yeah.
That the reason why he does not have the life that he wants
You-
that he had in the military was because he had needed that, and that's what I don't want.
And
you
he-
should be able to scream at yourself and tell
And
them.
Yeah.
he would still cut his hair the way a Marine would.
For sure.
And I wish we had somebody holding the camera so I can demonstrate the way he would walk. That's not how a Marine walks. He's just like this. And I'm like, bro, like, you're going to tell me you used to be in the Marines walking like that? There's no way.
He was
that-
bottom G there.
He was definite. Well, I did the perfect job trying to demonstrate that. So I'm just kidding. No, but
Y ahí va Eddie atrás.
no, I couldn't follow that. That was definitely not an example I wanted to follow. But just bring it back to what was the decision that you chose to do after that?
After the
You're
movie.
17.
Yeah.
You came to Vegas.
Bro, I keep bringing this up. When did the car drifting stuff start?
I know. Okay.
This is the third time.
Yeah, you're like-
and then he goes, wait, before we gotta talk
Yeah.
about that, I gotta talk
You're
about.
like, just tell me.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I was
Because
talking
the
about.
drifting car was outside earlier.
Yeah.
And it's, ooh.
We can go.
It just sucks that it's stick shifting. I don't know how to drive stick, but I'm going to learn.
And you look real good in the passenger seat. So.
You're a pretty girl passenger.
Yeah.
Hey, just don't put your hand on my thigh because,
No, I got you.
we
Don't
got
worry.
wine and everything.
No, so Aunt's super strict, right? I'm living by her rules, living in her house. I'm not allowed to have the car I want. If you want a car to get back and forth to school, you're gonna drive the car I provide. How are you gonna argue with that? I'm making no money, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Get the car she provides me, right? like, cool, I'm gonna drive this.
Minivan?
Nissan Altima.
Nice.
Yeah, sweet ride. It beat everyone walking in Louis Vuitton backpacks at school, and I'm like, you guys walk home. You know, like,
Yeah.
for me, that
Bro,
was pride.
a Nissan Altima is a good car, and let me talk my
That
shit.
is a good car.
Yeah, let me talk my shit right now too, because we're travelers. There's always gonna be somebody decked out with every designer bag, designer shoes, gold chains, only to sit in 32B. In the airplane. No, and that's no cap.
Yeah.
That's the same exact thing of everybody bezeled out, you know, blinged out, going to school, walking. So you
That was my
you know-
flex. So I could take all your girls.
Yeah.
Oh.
And you need to know that. I mean, you obviously knew that those bags were from the swap meet, anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, they looked a little flimsy. So.
Yeah.
But look, if the curve ever hit you, it's just a Nissan Altima. It wasn't ever your fault, you know?
Right. Well, and then here was like my first eye-opening experience with the money. Right? I'm driving this Nissan Altima. Aunt moves away. I'm like, she's not here. Car's in my name now. I got to sell this. I need something cooler, right? So I go to this, like, one of the car dealers, like, on the side of the road on, like,
Oh, no.
Spring
Here we
Mountain
go.
and Bonanza. Or what, you know what I mean? Like, the smallest shop. I'm like, look, this is the car I have. What do you got around? So we start looking, right? And me knowing cars, we see this older, like a 2008, like, cop car.
Okay, do you know what year was the Nissan Altima?
Probably like a 2012 or something.
Can you tell me how much it was, the value was at the time?
It was like $6,000.
All right.
So the guy's like, look, we'll buy this car, you know, for me for $6,000. Well, on the lot was a 2008 Crown Victoria.
Don't know what that
The
is.
Crown Victoria is a Ford model. It's the classic police car.
Right.
Oh.
So just picture a cop car, okay? But the reason I like that car so much is because it came with a V8 motor.
Yep.
Okay.
So I'm like, oh, this is way cooler than the Altima. I can put an exhaust on it and we're good to go, right? So I'm like,
And that's rear wheel drive too, right?
yeah. So I'm like,
Yeah.
burnouts. That's what I'm thinking, right?
Yep.
So I'm like, cool. Here's the Altima. I'll buy that for $4,000. Give me $2,000. Now I got money in my pocket, right? I buy that car, and at this time I didn't know how to drift or nothing. I just knew how to do burnouts and stuff, right? So I'm just burning up the car, I blow the motor in it.
Of course you do.
Quick.
Of course you do.
Quick, right? And it's stuck outside the shop, and this guy pulls up one day in this little Mazda Miata. It's this little red Mazda Miata
Yeah.
with a roll cage on it.
Of course.
He goes, I will trade you my 250,000 mile Mazda Miata for your car. It's a done deal. Let's go. That's rear wheel drive, stick shift. Let's do it. And that's what started me and
Oh
got
my
me
God.
addicted.
Is that a
Wait,
smart
hold on.
move though?
Time out.
That
Time
car was the most reliable car I've owned.
That's true.
Wait. Time out. So was this person like aware that the Crown? Would you?
Crown
Crown Victoria.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Crown Royal, the Crown Victoria. So was this person aware that the Crown Victoria had a blown motor?
Yeah. No, I was like super honest. I'm like, here, but it was newer. This was a 1997 Mazda Miata.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, it's not attractive to anyone.
No,
you know?
it's a little Beetle
He's
red
like,
car.
I will take your blown motor Crown Victoria and replace the motor, and I will give you a working car, pretty much. And I said, done deal. I had a roll cage already, and that's where I started to learn how to drift.
Perfect.
Yeah. And
How long did that car last you?
How old were you too?
What age?
at that time, I was probably 17 and a half, 18 when I got that car. And that car lasted for about a year. So here's another side note,
You
too.
blew the motor too.
In my adulthood, I'm 26 years old. I've owned 42 vehicles. Buying,
fuck?
selling,
What?
buying, selling. I've never kept a car more than a year. My girlfriend can attest to this. She's ridden in more than 26 vehicles I've owned since, mind you, we met when we were 17 years old. You know what I mean?
Here in Vegas or?
Here in Vegas, we met in high school. So throughout that whole time, she's ridden on all my cars, you know, and so I only keep them for like a year or whatnot, and then I trade for something else, and then I build it and trade for something else.
So you're like Conor McGregor with like a new car for the different day of the week.
It's like, yeah, but all non-expensive cars, you know. All the cars I've owned have been less than $40,000 maybe.
Yeah.
So, and that's just what really got me hooked and started watching a lot of YouTube. And that's when I built my first Mazda Miata.
Nice.
I traded it for a white Mazda, low miles, took the motor out, built the motor, all off YouTube, mind you. I hate working on cars, but
University.
I like working on race cars. Like,
But
I like
that's your
building-
hobby.
You know what I mean? Like, that's
Yeah.
what I enjoy. Can I change oil? Can I do stuff? Yes, but do I want to? Absolutely not.
Yeah, I don't
Now,
want
if we're
that.
upgrading your car, by all means, let's do it. You know what I mean? And that was the first car I did and the first car I competed with.
Competed where?
So out here in Vegas, they have like pro amateur drifting, wet sessions, stuff like that. So I just started practicing at the track with it and just they square off a parking lot and they make it, spray it with water. And I just started going around and practicing.
By track, he means a church parking lot.
That we've done too.
So you actually you've done actual competitions.
Yeah.
Are you trying to? So what's the goal with this? Are you trying to go pro? Are you trying to?
It's hard. Okay, so from the dirt biking, I then discovered drifting. I'm like, that's what I'm doing next. I'm going to be a professional FD Formula Drift driver. Come to find out, being a professional FD driver costs a lot of money.
Yes, it does.
A lot of money.
A lot.
Unless you're sponsored by Red Bull.
By tires, Tokyo Tires, or something.
All
like
that, like, you need to be literally a millionaire to just cover FD costs.
You do.
And so that slowly died off because of the salary I was making when I was a kid.
Do you know what's actually crazy? Coming to Vegas in November here, and we're not sponsored. F1 is coming. The thing with that is, I always wondered, like, why do these people get paid millions? And why is, like, the city of Las Vegas spending... Do you guys know how much they're actually spending?
No, but we're finally getting new roads, all because of one race. Did you notice that?
No, but I heard the contract was for 4 years.
Literally.
I heard I heard the
Priorities.
Yeah, priorities.
Priorities.
I heard the contract for F1 is for 4 years. Well, depending on how the first one goes.
Okay.
But supposedly they spent $500 million, so $500 million to fix everything up. They're building that new structure for obviously like the.
That's gonna be so sweet.
What is it, like the cockpit?
Yeah.
What are they gonna do with the cockpit the rest of the year? They're gonna use it for 4 or 5 days. What are they gonna use it for the rest of the year?
Right, because they're not building a track around it.
Do you know what I mean?
You're literally only Are they putting real buildings, or are they doing like pop-ups?
Where I think
Probably can all be torn down.
I think it's on Koval. I think it's on like Koval, like right behind MGM Grand.
Okay.
That's where I think it actually catty corner of to where Top Golf is at.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm?
Yeah, they're not going to do anything with that area.
Yeah,
anyways.
I don't
It
think
was
so.
trash.
So that's the thing with me. Like, if I'm correct, if that's where like the cockpit is going to be, what are they going to be doing for like the rest of the year? But I mean, I understand. Me, that I live here in Las Vegas, and I'm sure you too. Aren't you like sick and tired of like all the construction and like all the roads
Drives
and all
me
that?
nuts.
But you know what? The rest of the year, in December, the roads are going to be.
Yeah,
know?
but think about that when we live in a metropolis of just booming businesses and the land of opportunity here. We'll like it then, especially if we can grab a couple properties in the meantime while they're doing all
100%.
this. The value's only going up, and they're spending the money to do it. So
Not only that,
if I can be smart and plan ahead, then I think we'll be.
That's actually one of the things why I like living in San Diego so much, because I don't travel much in the sense of within San Diego, because when I travel, I just jump on an airplane.
Right.
But when I need to travel somewhere, when I need to go somewhere,
I'm there.
it's not that far of a drive. Like literally, or there's not enough traffic. San Diego traffic, it's not in 6. Even today, I left to the airport 30 minutes before I had the plane departed. And then I got there still in 15 minutes. And that was with the heaviest traffic of the day.
Wow.
yeah, but you did say, guys, I barely made my flight.
Yeah, because literally
Because you barely made your
the
flight.
flight was supposed to leave at TSA took longer than me
Get
in the worst traffic of the day. So it's actually not that bad. So like I made it like literally 10 minutes before everybody was already sitting down. I think I got lucky just because
They were waiting for you.
they were either waiting for no, they were because when I sat down, I still sat down in my seat for like another extra 10 minutes because they were waiting for them to get the clearance from the air control to say you guys are clear to take off now. So that, but no, man, I love San Diego, and here, yeah, it's like, oh shit, everything is so clustered in together in the strip, but then it's like fucking parking, and then just driving from one side of the strip to the other side of the strip, it's just like hell of traffic.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
If you know your way around the streets.
I think I just
should
like
be
the
good.
vibe about it being from
But-
Fresno,
Oh,
California.
but no,
like,
dude, I love coming here because first of all, the amount of I have way more friends here in Vegas
Right.
than I have in fucking San Diego, and I lived all my life in San Diego. Just the network or people that I actually hang out, like I want to spend time. We do every single time I come here. It's like, all right, my list of peeps.
Right.
I'm back
Dinners,
in Vegas.
plenty of dinners.
Let's
The
go.
boys are back in
The
town.
boy
Uh-huh.
is
Boys are
back.
back
Your
in
boy
town.
is back in town, right? So I mean, it's nice. I think and to be honest with you, like we were talking about in another podcast when we were just doing a quick update. It's like, oh, I don't want to get distracted living in Vegas, and I was like, well, if you have the discipline because I have the discipline enough to be like, fuck all distractions. I'm gonna hyper focus. Even right now, while we were on the podcast, a club promoter is like, what are you doing tonight? I was like,
Who? Just kidding.
Anthony.
Oh my gosh.
Dude, and I was like, and I'm
gonna
about
tell
to
you something
message him
funny
like,
about it.
yeah, I'm gonna be working, bro. Like,
oh, it's easy to get wrapped up in this
Yeah.
life, and it will take you for everything. 19 years old, I made $32,000 that year.
Let's go.
And I had a fake ID and gambled $29,000.
Wait, you lost 29?
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
So,
lost $29,000.
wow. So, actually, would you be open to talking about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's my past.
already
You know,
gone.
I've done a lot.
Yeah, because
I
I think when
wish
we
I
first
could-
met, I was talking to you and your girl, and I think one time you were like, we were just chilling at the casino, grabbing a few drinks, and you were like, I'm gonna go gamble real quick over here at the table, and then Hannah, Jesus Christ, is like, oh yeah, we were talking about it, and she's like, oh yeah, he gets addicted. I have to drag him by the ear sometimes.
I have no other addiction. Okay, so I have an addictive personality, right? My parents, addicted to drugs, addicted to alcohol. I never smoked cigarettes.
Facts, neither.
You know what I mean? Like, I did weed for a little bit, but that even gave me super high anxiety, so I kicked weed. I can kick all that stuff real easy. Gambling, crazy. I could not kick it.
Do you know why?
Now, recently, I've been able to, like,
It's
Last
it's,
couple months.
it's the highest like
it's a thrill.
it's the highest dopamine levels, you know.
It doesn't help when you go sit down and, you know, I've sat down and won $7,000 in an hour and a half. I've sat down and won $4,000 the next day. Like, that's disgusting, right? Like, it's more money than people make in a couple months, you know, out of a job, and I made it in 2 hours total.
Yep.
But it's the times you go back and you lose 15,000 that it doesn't matter that you just won that.
Yeah, the last time I actually gambled heavy was when I lost $7,000 in front of my dad. And I don't care about the $7,000 that I bought. I cared that my dad stepped in and said, Mijo, didn't you, he said this in Spanish, he goes, Mijo, didn't you see that you were doing so well up until they changed the dealer? And look, I'm not going to use my terminology, but like, I'm an intelligent person and I notice everything. I didn't notice when they switched the dealers was when I started to decline. And I didn't like that my dad corrected me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what hurt me.
And
But
it's
now
always,
I get a shit ton of comps.
and tell me about, and just tell me how disgusting of a feeling is that?
No, it's terrible. It's terrible.
You feel
I
real bad, right?
Yeah, I literally thought, you know what, I'm gonna make $1,000 real quick and get the fuck out, because my buy-in was 10,000. So I had 20 on me. Do you understand?
Yeah.
I had 20 on me cash, and what an idiot!
Yeah.
20K cash walking around in the strip like I don't carry cash. I don't like cash.
Right.
You know, I don't like cash, and that day just to want to like.
It's the worst
impress my
feeling ever.
parents. Yeah.
I had a friend visiting, right? Taking him around town. Go to Mandalay Bay, right? I put in $60 on, what was I playing? Craps, right? racked it up to $3,900 off $60, right? Just taking him around the casino. We walk. I make my way to Resort World. I lost $3,500 in 30 minutes.
Wow.
I walked away with $400.
You're still up, but
That was the last time I ever gambled.
which was when?
Yesterday. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, I was gonna be like,
this
damn,
was
sick invite.
this was a few months, like 4 to 6 months ago.
This
Wow.
was November 19th.
But it's so funny. After I lose, I'm like, all right, what do I need to sell? What do I need to do? I need to recoup this money. You know what I
And
mean?
you know what the crazy thing is? Yeah, you walk up and down the strip and you see like all the homeless people. That's because they did the same exact things that you are thinking of doing. And not to get too off topic, there's the show called Vice on YouTube, right?
Yep.
There was somebody that worked for the gambling addiction retention
Right.
company, something to like help you stop gambling. He literally stated, "We are trained to sound like we care. The second we get off the phone, we don't care.
Yeah.
We don't care."
Well, and I think I really wholeheartedly believe that my problem would be a lot worse if I did not have such a crappy childhood. If I wasn't shown the lifestyle I didn't want to live, I fully believe I'd be a whole gambling addict with no money and
Yeah.
gamble every dollar I get.
Yeah, and
That's how much I enjoyed it.
I believe that because when I was going to high school, all the kids that were doing well, I'm not gonna say name races or anything like that, but all the kids that were very, very well off, I look at them now because I'm not gonna say they're trust fund babies, but I literally saw a picture of somebody on Facebook 2 days ago. Doesn't have a haircut, didn't trim his beard. He's big. Before he was super into sports, and like he was always well maintained. The reason why is because they move out of like their parents' house and they don't know struggle. So if you don't know struggle, if you can't embrace struggle, you're that's life. You know, like that's
Yeah,
life.
no, I would not apply myself the way I do today. You would not even think to have me on the podcast if I didn't go through that.
No.
I fully believe that because at the end of the day, I'm genuine. I have that drive, and I take any information that's given to me dead serious.
Yeah.
Dead serious. I apply myself. So
Perfect.
Gotcha. So okay, so now after all that, let's talk about what you're doing now. Like,
Correct.
what is it that you're doing now? What are you working on? What are your ambitions? What does future Dillon hold?
ambitions is really just growing not only my personal brand, but any brand I come into contact with or decide to grow. I mean, I dabble in rental automation a little bit. I do exotic snacks as well. So we own a couple warehouses in Thailand that we stack full of goods, and we sell to smoke shops and dispensaries here in Vegas. And really, there's a new thing I'm working on I can't talk too much about, but I really feel like
Undisclosed.
that is my gym. I think the customers are there, the money's behind it, and I think, getting on this podcast in the next 90 days is going to be completely different.
Wait, you said the money's, the customers are there, the money's there. Is it backed by the dollar?
It's
definitely
legal.
Yeah,
It's legal.
It's definitely backed by the
Not
dollar.
everywhere, but it's legal.
All right.
Yep.
So then let's talk about what we have going on, because yourself, Eddie Garcia, myself, Leslie, and Hannah are going to be throwing a networking event for entrepreneurs here in Las Vegas. Let's talk about how successful the very first event that you, Hannah, and Leslie threw at Lanetta.
Yeah. No, beyond bless the way that event turned out. I think we started promoting that maybe like 2.5 weeks out. So first one I've ever done. I've attended everyone else's networking events, social events, right? But I always took something that I felt like they were missing, and I always felt that it was real cool to meet everyone that's doing great, and it was really neat to like listen to what people are doing. But my biggest thing in the position that I was in is I wanted to know how I could do it. That's great. You make $1 million a year, and you want me to give you $10K to teach me, but like, on a realistic level, I think there's money to be made between us, you know. So how can we have normal conversations and just talk about it and see if there's business? So, you know, I got with my girlfriend, I got with Leslie, and I'm like, what if we do our own event? Why not, right? Never done this before, but let's see what we can make happen. I reach out to Lanetta out here in Vegas, downtown Summerlin, and I'm like, hey, you know, here's what I'm trying to put together. I think I can get this many people. You know, I don't have like a lot of capital I want to throw at this event because it's our first one, so I'm not looking to waste a bunch of money. Like, you know, do you have the space? And grateful as I am, the director of marketing goes, we'll give you the space. Don't pay us nothing. Bring us clients. The entire space is yours. I go, holy crap. And mind you, the goal was 100 people. Okay, I don't know 100 people. I got 10 friends maybe, you know. It's like, it seems that way, you know, like the circle's very small. And so we started blasting about 2.5 weeks before the event. We got a lot of interest and people got intrigued and we started getting RSVPs. And I think I made a post on Instagram like 5 days beforehand, like if you're in town, come down to La Neta, you know, like if you're an entrepreneur and you want to meet like-minded individuals, come on down. My goal was always to connect people. I love connecting people. You know, if you have a business and Eddie has a business and there's a way we can make it happen, I'd love to just be the connection there. So my whole goal behind the event was, you know, let's do an event. You know, we're not going to do speakers. We're strictly going to bring everyone into a room and we're just going to connect them and see what happens from it. Our first event, we brought 67 people showed up. We generated $8,000 in revenue for the restaurant.
Let's go. And what happened after that?
Nice.
After that, the restaurant group reached out to us, the owners included, and go, any one of our 5 locations in Las Vegas moving forward is completely sponsored to you. So now, here we are looking to partner up on our next event.
Absolutely.
Let's not say where it's at because it's a speakeasy and we keep those low key.
Yeah.
And you're not cool unless you know where those are at. But what are the other 5 locations? So I know the specific company or the owners own Más Por Favor. They own La Neta. What are the other 3?
The other 3.
Those are always hard to remember.
Yeah,
huh?
no, literally, it's some flower place, which is another restaurant. I don't know the names off the top of my head. I mean, we can.
Come on, Dillon, what's going on?
Because I only La Neta is
We
my
only go to
biggest.
those 2.
I got a VIP card there, so you know.
There you go.
They take great care of me.
Yeah,
there.
you know what's actually kind of crazy too? Like the owner knows you by name.
Yeah, and I hadn't.
Big flex,
I didn't
guys.
even meet him first. He goes, "Oh, Dillon Brooks, pleasure to meet you. I've heard a lot about you."
That's
He's
dope.
the owner of the company, you know what I mean? That was really neat. And he was just saying, like, I'm the #1 VIP card holder there because everyone that comes into town, I like to take them there. And I don't know, it's just kind of cool to me. I really respect them for doing that, and they've done a lot, and it's really going to help us out in the future events. I mean,
shout out to Brandon too.
Yeah, dude, Brandon Zimmer, man, the director of marketing.
Shout out to Brandon. I don't know how he did it when we went to Taco Tuesday for wearing a white sweater.
17 people deep.
Yeah, we had to put like 4 or 5 tables together.
Hilarious.
And
but that man, that man works wonders in organization. So,
Nice. So, what? Okay. So for everybody listening, what type of networking event are we trying to throw, and when to expect it?
The networking event we're trying to throw is an event where if you're an entrepreneur yourself, if you like the idea of owning your own business, or maybe already have a business and want to connect with more people to see what can happen,
or you don't and you want to start.
Yeah,
you want
even
a
that
great
too.
place to start.
Yeah,
Correct.
learning. You know, it's not going to be those ones like you come in, we're going to tell you how much money we make, and we're not going to tell you how we did it type of thing. But it's going to be informational. You know, I'm really looking, again, to just go back to connecting people and, you know, kind of seeing where everyone has the responsibility to take things into their own hands.
It's a great place to kickstart your journey.
Right. You have to have the drive, though.
If you're curious, if you are scared, which is perfectly fine because I didn't start my entrepreneurship journey until I was like 22 and a half. You know, this is a great place to start for sure.
Yeah, so basically, from what we've spoken about, my whole proposition behind the networking event is because I want to be able to have a place where people come in and they gain a lot of value. I've been to so many networking events where it's like, this was very half-assed done.
Or it's always a party.
Yeah, it's always a party, right? So it's like I don't. It's almost to the point like, man, I don't want to go to another networking event, right? But I think there's a certain a way that at the end of the day, like Eddie mentioned it to the other networking event, it's up to you to take advantage
100%.
of the position. But I wanted to create an event where it's like, it's almost impossible that you don't gain any value out of coming out of this event, right? Because we want presenters. We want to come, and we've been to networking events where there's presenters, and they go up there, they talk for 2.5 minutes, and they don't say shit, and then they get off, right? And it's like nothing of value was given. It was just garbage. I really want to be able to come in and be able to provide and just blow people's minds away.
Right.
Not give out. Give out so much of the free sauce, but hold the, like, I'll handhold you the rest of the way product.
Right.
afterward,
Yeah.
You know. So we want to be able to bring leaders in their industry, and definitely, obviously, Eddie's going to be speaking about Amazon. I'm going to be speaking about credit, and I know there's a few other people that we are still working on getting, but that's basically my main priority of people, and being able to make that a very, very successful business or networking event for literally everybody. Everybody's going to win. Everybody that attends is going to gain so much value, and they're going to be able to network and gain a lot of relationships. We're going to win. We're probably going to be able to sell a lot of our own products and make a lot of money this way. The restaurant business is going to be, or the facility is going to get a lot of people that are going to come, exposure. and food and drinks there, which
because in Las Vegas it's very difficult to find a venue for free, and I raw right now. How did you feel about like throwing your very, very first event? Because I'm gonna follow up right now.
I was nervous. I didn't know what to expect. I thinking in my head like, how do I walk in? How do I present myself when I get there? Do I walk like? It was so new to me. I had no idea what to do. So it was just organic off the top. As soon as I got there, we're live. You know,
and it's
what I mean?
actually kind of crazy too, because you stood next to me, and I got your entire speech. It was like, it was a great speech.
I appreciate that a lot. It means a lot.
I'm not one to lie, and you guys already know. I don't compliment people, really. I really don't. But it wasn't a motivational speech. It wasn't. It was a raw speech. It didn't seem scripted. Was it scripted?
Not at all.
All right, good.
That
nice.
was literally like me, like, you know what? The night's about to end. Turn down the music. I gotta say something. I felt it in my heart, you know.
And you know how like
you had a calling,
dude. Something was telling me.
From right there, like, you know how like you can go live on Instagram, and at the end, like, it might give you like statistics of like how many people showed up, how many people left. I want to say that throughout the entire night, like 90% of the people that showed up stayed throughout the entire event, and only 10% of the people left a little early.
Right.
Because what happened is, after that event, of course, the kitchen closed, and some of us were still a little bit hungrier, and we ended up going to a different restaurant that we're not going to name, and we're just like, just to wrap it up, is the bonding. It was like the bonding for me.
Well, because you had that whole couple hours to really get to know each other. I mean, we have a group, right? The same people come around, because that's kind of where the entrepreneur mindset started. But we had fresh faces of other people's friends that were interested, and it was so neat to see.
So the crazy thing is that you did actually mention that, because there were a lot of people there that I hadn't seen before. The thing with me was that new people got the message. I'll go as far as to say that when we throw our networking event, I already know who to expect. No disrespect. As a host, right? I'm not going for those people. Yes, I'm going to say hi to them. I'm going to say what's up, whatever. I'm going for the new people, right? Our goal should be to make them feel welcomed, because they are.
It's all about that culture.
To be informative, because if for Taco Tuesday, if we rolled 17 deep, I want the whole fucking row.
Yeah.
I want to roll 25 deep.
Yep.
And it's not that, hey, you can't have a seat at my table because you don't bring value. You should have a seat at the table because you're so hungry.
Yes.
Because you want to eat, you know, and not eat in the sense of like, oh, I think you guys are so cool. I really want to go out to eat with you guys. No. You're hungry in the sense that you want the knowledge. You're hungry in the sense that you want to learn and take your life a little more serious.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Awesome, man. And I think that wraps it up for today. That's amazing. Once again, bro, thank you so much for joining.
Thank you guys.
for
I
opening
appreciate
up. There's you dropped a lot of stuff that we had no idea about you,
Yeah.
man. And we've been knowing you for years.
So
I really appreciate you giving your perspective to the audience and to us especially. So once again, you provided us a lot of value. Is there any way that ourselves or the audience can drop value back to
Plug
you?
yourself.
Plug yourself in.
I said it first.
Plugging myself, Dillon R. Brooks on Instagram.
There you go.
If you see this, shoot me a follow. If you have more questions or you're interested in these networking events, like please reach out. At the end of the day, I'm a genuine person, and I'm hungry. And if we can do business together, that's what I'm interested in.
So we are going to be tagging your Instagram. Do you have a YouTube channel?
No YouTube.
No YouTube?
Just Instagram.
We're going to be putting down his phone number as well. No.
Social will be there, if you need your taxes.
His home address,
Yeah.
the whole shebang.
Come find me.
No, so we're definitely going to be plugging him in because I'm actually interested in these snacks, these exotic snacks.
Make it
I've
happen.
been waiting for my box, bro.
I owe him a box.
Yeah, he owes me a box.
I owe him a box.
If you don't give him a box, you guys are going to have to box it out.
Okay, no,
There we
that's
go.
fair.
But perfect. No, so thank you guys so
the
much.
next thing you know, it's a influencer boxing match.
Oh my God.
Oh, no.
They pay.
They pay.
There you go.
they get
All
paid.
right, you guys. Again, remember every Thursday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Check these out. Peace out.
Thank you
Love
so
you guys. Thank you. Bye bye.
Later.
Thank you.